Hey, listeners, welcome to the Shut Up and Ride podcast. Before we kick things off, just a quick heads up. In this episode of Shut Up and Ride, we do drop a few more swear words than usual, but obviously the banter is still here and we have a great chat with our guest. But, and this is important, our guest opens up about some really tough stuff, including domestic violence. And if that's something you or someone you know is going through, please know you're not alone. We've added links in the episode description to places you can get help, support, and guidance. All right, with that, let's get into it.
Ben is dancing. Simon is staring at the screen confused. I feel like I need to go and lie in a darkened room already, trying to wrangle everyone together. But we are back for another episode of the Shut Up and Ride podcast. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. And I am delighted to say, not only do I have both boys, everyone, I have both boys, but we also have a guest. But I'm going to introduce them in a second. First of all, big shout out to Charles Owen, who are not only sponsors of the podcast, they are also coming on as part title sponsor of the tour with Cavago. So they continue their relationship with us. We love Charles Owen. Boys, how are you? Are you well?
Yeah.
Obviously not.
You go, Ben. You go.
So help me out, you guys.
Yeah, I'm good. Got a bit of an easier month this month because I'm at home, but it's not been very easy so far. So
let's face it, that never happens for you. That never happens. Simon, your hair's looking good. Are you all right?
Yeah, no, I'm good, thank you. Been quite busy. Been eventing. It was at Heartbreak weekend,
You've been
and before
eventing. That, you should do that for a job. You're good.
That's
at that.
different.
But I was also at the Dublin Horse Show last week judging the young event horse class. I judged the 4 and 5 year olds, which was really cool actually because I did I judged with William Fox Pitt and Nicola Wilson, and yeah, it was really good. And William's hilarious. He's so straight to the point. There's no messing. And I went out for dinner with it was William, Alice Plunkett, Susie Berry, Yogi Breisner, Nicola Wilson and her husband Alistair, and I was like, God, this is such a cool bunch of people to be going for dinner with. And then there was me. I was like judging with 2 people who got an MBE each, and I'm like, and I've got nothing.
You've got a Shut Up and Ride podcast and very good friends.
Exactly.
There you go.
I went to the Burley Media press day today to do some interviews and chat to people, and I was like, and on BBC Radio Leicester, I think it was, I was like, I do a podcast, and yeah, it's really cool, and I was talking about that. So,
yay, good promotion, well done. Right, however much I love you two boys, and I would love to speak to you all day, I don't actually want to. I want to introduce our next guest. But before I do so, can I just say I'm sorry, you're allowed to swear on this podcast, guest. She does my fucking head in because every time she posts without tack on, I get inundated with bloody social media messages. Can you get her on the pod? Can you get her on the pod? Well, now I'm answering the masses. But Simon, before we do it, can you do a Northern Irish accent for me, please, to introduce this guest?
My Northern Irish accent's not very good.
It is good.
No,
it is. Come on, you have to introduce this guest.
It's no good. And actually, when I do it, a lot of my Irish friends say that I don't sound very Irish at all. But I try my best.
Well, introduce the guest in your Northern Irish accent, please.
So today on the Shut Up and Ride podcast, we've got Abi Lyle.
Yay!
I don't think that was bad at all. That was good
You're
effort.
very sweet. You're very sweet.
I enjoyed that. I was transported to home.
I thought Abby was meant to be Irish, and then I heard Simon's accent and was like, I didn't know she was Pakistani Welsh. This is...
Ben, something so mean.
So, yeah, you may not know this about our international man of mystery, Simon Grieve, but he does many an accent. His Scottish, I think, is particularly good.
Ooh.
Give us a bit of
think
Scottish,
you should just...
Simon.
Okay, so my Scottish accent. What can I say? I don't know. So I'll start with the questions. So, Abby, whereabouts are you from in Northern Ireland? In Northern Ireland. I swapped.
In Northern Ireland. That was very good. I'm from Bangor, County Down.
Wow.
So it's completely unexciting. You know, we have like a marina that's not that remarkable. It's a little town, you know, northeast of Belfast, I think. Like, yeah.
And were horses always part of the family, part like just, or is that something you had to get into?
Yeah, no one in my family horsey at all. I was obsessed from 2 years old for nobody knows why. I used to get my mum to pull me around on the Hoover, and I had to really
Cool.
like campaign to be allowed to go and ride. My family were like, no, what an annoying thing to get into, which is weird when I look back because I think it's a great thing to get involved in.
So, like being pulled around, what was their aversion to horses? Was it the expense or the danger, or like what was their kind of like for people listening if they're going to put their children off riding?
I think like mostly the expense, the inconvenience of having to like drive into the countryside, and like my dad was always very concerned that I would never like be any good at it because we didn't have like money to buy good like horses and stuff. But yet
So
here we are.
how did that develop from that doing well really like without any backup or backing to be able to go and do it, and now you're doing this, like I mean a proper journey to get here.
To the Olympics, like there is no better like end result for them, by the way.
full Olymps, yeah. Well, I like, you know, I kind of would have said I did like I loaned a pony, and then my mum did buy me a thoroughbred after I did my A levels. He cost £580. His name was
Those
Bart.
well-known dressage bred horses, yeah.
Well-known dressage bred horses. His name was Bart, and he was an absolute wee arsehole. And then like when I was like 23, like I went to uni and stuff, and then I was working in retail. I used to manage a Benetton. Remember Benetton? Yeah. Honestly, some of the best times of my life. Anyway,
anyone under the age of 30 probably doesn't know what a Benetton is.
Doesn't know what Benetton was, yeah. And then I saw an ad in the Farm Week for somebody wanted a groom, and I just thought, well, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it now. And then I went completely clueless, absolutely crap, and started working there, which actually was a point-to-point racing yard. And then I went from there to a show jumpers yard. And then I was like, I want to do this. I started to become obsessed with dressage. So I moved to England and like just went balls to the wall, really. I went to Talland as a working pupil, and I literally just said yes to everything until here we are. It's pretty much the crux of it.
Wow, that is pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Am I right in thinking you went to Talland to do your BHS exams, but that was where you were aiming for? The Olympics wasn't in your story, as it were?
Oh my gosh, no. Like I wanted to do my BHS exams, and probably my biggest goal when I moved there was I would have loved to ride a Prix St. George. And then but the day I got to Talland and walked around the place, I knew I'd never go home. I'd just never seen anything like it. It was like horses everywhere, and like riding school horses going in Albion saddles literally blew my mind. I was like, God. So I was like a kid in the biggest candy store, and that was that. I knew I'd never go home.
Oh my God, that is insane. And did you, so it was at Talland that you met your Olympic horse, am I right?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so literally I was riding anything I could get my grubby little hands on, and there was a lady who was a client who saw me kind of getting thrown around on a young horse, and she said, I really like how patient you are. And she said, I just bought this 3-year-old stallion, he was a stallion still then, in an auction in Holland. Would you be interested in riding him? And I was like, hell yeah. I didn't even see the video. And then a few months later, there he came off the lorry and changed my life.
Wow.
And fell over, and I went mental on the lunge the first day and fell over and was like just this crazy little creature.
That is
But you tamed him.
I did tame him. We fell in love, and yeah. And we went on a journey together for the last 10 years. 10 years we've been together.
Do you think if you hadn't met him, you would have gone on this crazy journey? Did he inspire you, or do you think by hook or by crook you would have ended up where you are somehow?
Oh, I would have. Yeah, I would have. Like, I was
Yeah.
so like, yeah, like I just loved it. I was so obsessed with, and I still am, with just like getting better. And I just love doing it. Love training horses. So yeah, I would say whether he came along or not, I probably, yeah, I would still have, whether I would be where I am now, but I'd still be going for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I find, because I had my horse at Talon for many, many years, that's how I met you, and I love Pammy and Brian Hutton. They're brilliant. But Pammy and many riding stables, she has that terrifying way of going. Like she is terrifying, and is strict, and all of these things. And I feel like people like yourself, did you find that you thrive off that? Because I feel like in nowadays, some young people probably in the same position coming over now are a bit scared by this kind of rule of the iron fist, work hard ethic. But did you have that? Are you a hard worker? Were you like, yeah, I like being shouted at? Is that...
I never found her that scary. I honestly didn't. Probably maybe coming from Ireland and working and yeah, I would have, to be fair, I worked for somebody who before I moved to England, and she shaped me right up, and she was amazing, and she's one of the best people I've ever met. Her name's Jonah Drain. So I worked for her before, and she was like, you
really
get it
scary.
done. And, yeah, but she was also amazing. And I think when I do a bit of a deep thought, a lot of these women, are just very powerful, but are also really wonderful people. So I think I'd seen that side already to Joan. So when I went over there, I was already a pretty hard worker and pretty I was on the ball, I'd say, because I got there as a working pupil, and I was warming up her horses within 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. That does not happen.
Yeah. And yeah.
I was just going to say, do you think that's all sort of linked? So from my little brain's ticking. And so when you're saying that you're good,
going for it, Abby.
you felt really good with the pressure from, you didn't feel like she gave you too much pressure and stuff like that. And is that because like you say, you'd come from that working environment where if people were going to get after you to do something, it's because it needed doing?
Oh,
and
yeah,
that meant
absolutely.
that you were good at listening.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to do my best, and I wanted to look after horses. And I remember not long after I arrived, a horse colicked. Abira, do you remember Abira?
Oh, I used to ride Abira.
Yeah, Paralympic gold medal
with Susie
horse.
Hex.
Yeah, he's done amazing things. Abira colicked, and there was 2 other Irish people that arrived at the same time, and we went with Abira in the lorry for when he colicked, and oh my gosh, it was traumatic. But anyway, he lived to tell the tale. So we were all awarded with a schoolmaster lesson, after this night where we were with Abira in the lorry. And I remember I got on a mow, and I couldn't get her to trot. She just kept piaffing. And Hammy was like, don't you dare do that. And I was like, I'm not trying to do it. And then I remember her saying to me, enjoy this, because it'll probably be at least 5 years until you're ever good enough to ride a horse like this again. And the thing was, within a year, that mare was my ride. That was the first mare I did. I rode that mare up to Inter too, because I just have that oh yeah, well, we'll see.
Red
a little bit
she was out to prove a point.
yeah. So, and I did, and I enjoyed the lesson so much. It was amazing. I remember the first time I even sat on a dressage horse at Talland, and me and the other Irish guy, we got to trot 2 of Charlie's horses around the farm. Because we were Irish, we were allowed to take them cantering, because we were Irish and we're down for that.
That's
and I remember
Irish
him and
do.
it's what we do. We canter in fields. And I remember us taking off in trot, and we were just screaming and wow, we couldn't believe the way they moved. We'd never sat on anything like that in our lives.
I've ridden a mow as well, and I used to say she was the equine version of Pammy Hutton. If Pammy was a horse, she would be a mow. Like,
what a queen. Yeah,
she was an
I get
absolute
that.
queen. Yeah, she was just like, you have to fucking work for this. I'm not even going to go on the bit unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah, and if you don't come and approach this properly, it's not happening.
Yeah, she was a brilliant horse to learn on because all the tools were in that box, but you had to work hard to unlock them. And I think, I mean, I've obviously run yards and done it. And I think that is the thing, isn't it? For me, when I trained, it was like, right, you're not allowed to ride these horses till you proved yourself. And I would stay after work, exercise horses no one wanted to, prove myself. And I remember the first day my trainer David let me ride his stallion and jump him. It was such an honor. I was so happy. And I feel like sometimes that's a bit lost now. People come to yards and go, well, I'm going to be a rider. Well, no, you got to put the graft in. And
absolutely.
I have to jump in on this. I'm not going to name and shame because they're now in the industry and I don't want to make more enemies than I already have. But this young person sent me a message asking for a job as a rider in our performances. And I just sent them a message back saying, like, there's always a possibility. Could you either come to my yard so I can see what you can do, or can you send me some pictures and videos and we'll take it from there? And they read it and didn't reply and just moved on to the next place to try and get a job, because these people don't realize that we're all connected and the next, do you know what I mean? And I was like, can you imagine as a young person being like, just like you say, I want a job as a rider. All I wanted was proof.
Yeah. That you can at least like do things.
Yeah. I do think sometimes some journeys that they go on, maybe going through college or or having horses as youngsters, people come a little bit into the industry a bit deluded of how hard you actually have to work to be good. And by sitting on an amazing horse, you got to earn that, right? It's a privilege to sit on a horse that knows how to do a flying change or a piaffe or a passage. You got to bloody earn that, I think, personally.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
So how do you get, obviously this podcast is only a certain amount of time, so we might have to bypass some of your career, but how do you get from riding schoolmasters and galloping because you're Irish round a fielded talent to an Olympic Games? Like, I know you went to Carl, didn't you, as well? Like, you're like the Mr. Hester. But
like I got to take a Mo to Carl.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you met him? Were you as starstruck as I was?
Yes, I did my makeup and everything, and I always do, and I still do. I would never go for a lesson with Carl without my makeup on. Always have to look my best, and I'm still starstruck by him, and I'll be starstruck by him until the day I am no longer here.
Ben and Simon did the same when we went to his yard. Yeah, don't worry.
He's just such a great character, and he's so charismatic.
Yeah.
I think I have said this before. I don't know if he knows this, and I really hope he doesn't, but I did have pictures of him on my file at school.
So did I. I have admitted on this podcast, Abby, that when I found out he was gay at 14 years old, I actually cried because I genuinely believed I would marry him.
He's a true hottie to this day.
He really is. When he puts up a good Insta post, I screenshot it and sent it to him. I'm like, you still look hot, Carl. You've still got it.
I literally have done the exact same message of me, like, this
is
outfit
proper
on you.
Fangirling going on here.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my God. I think like he had those, he put one in like a suit, and I was like, oh my God, you in this suit.
I think I did exactly the same picture.
Was he wearing, what are they called? Winkle pickers?
Oh yes, I know what you mean. Yes.
They're like, yeah.
And he's kind of knowing, he's like doing that kind of blue steel look into the distance.
Yes.
Yeah. But this is the thing, right? Okay, boys, I've got to explain this. Not only is he devilishly handsome and an amazing horse rider, he surrounds himself by animals all day, every day. Like, it is literally like your perfect man.
Yeah.
Apart from one small factor, that he doesn't like girls.
And he can cook.
And yes, he can. He cooked for us when we recorded the podcast with him.
Did he?
Anyone listening to this, go back and listen. And yeah.
Did he make chicken? Did he make like a chicken casserole type thing? He loves to make that.
Didn't we have noodles or something?
Oh.
Yeah. We were also very excited because he has an ungodly amount of champagne. So we tucked into that as well.
Nice.
He was a very, very good host. Very good host.
So training with Carl, absolutely shit yourself the first time? Did you ride up to a level that was okay? Did you do yourself proud?
I remember in the first lesson, he called me greedy old Abby because I had never done twos before. So like I was doing tempies on a mow and I'd never done twos. So, and like to this day, the way he told me to ride them is how I ride them in my head. And he explained what I should, like the timing. And then I did like a line, but I think I did like 5, but I kept going. And he was, and then of course I had a mistake and he was like, you got greedy old Abby. You should have just left it when you got 5. And yeah, like I honestly kept shitting myself for years because I've been, 2011, I started training with him. So that's 14 years.
Wow.
That's wild. Ooh, he's been there through a lot. So yeah. Wow. Time flies.
That is insane. That
but
is
like,
insane.
To even think of like how I got from that to here, the answer's like, I have no idea. Like just yeah.
Sorry, go on. When did the Olympics become a dream? When did you think that your horse was on that trajectory? Obviously, you went to in 2022, you went to the World Games in Herning. Was it, and what point did you think, actually, we are on this trajectory with this horse? This is where this is going?
Probably around then.
Yeah.
Like, even, I always believed that he was a really good horse. And I always believed he'd be a Grand Prix horse. But the Olympics, like, when I moved over, like I say, I wanted to do a PSG. And then after I did a PSG, I wanted to do a small tour. And then after I did a small tour, I wanted to do a Grand Prix, blah, blah, blah. And then it rolls on. So it wasn't really something, Olympics weren't like, yeah, that's what I want, until I kind of got around that place. And then I was like, okay. So yeah, probably from about 2022 was like, oh, this could happen. This terrifying thing could happen.
I'd just like to know like a bit more about, so you were obviously at Talland. When did you set up on your own? Did you obviously set up on your own, but like how quickly did that happen? Did you feel confident doing that on your own?
I really only was on my own from like late 2018. So I was 9 years in England then, and a lot of it happened kind of gradually. Like I would have been in Talland a bit and then at another yard with an owner and kind of, tootled about a little bit. But then from 2018, that was when I was like on my own.
And I kind of set up on my own. I remember being very kind of nervous about doing it and thinking, oh my goodness, am I going to be able to cope on my own? And I wouldn't have like people to bounce ideas off and that kind of stuff. And it made me quite nervous. And actually it was fine in the end. But I always wondered whether other riders felt the same way when they set up on their own.
Well, mine kind of came about because I was married before, and my husband was Pammy's son, as like many people would know, but a lot of people wouldn't. So I used to be married to Charlie Hutton. So we had set up together, and we're still like a little bit involved in Talland, but majoritively on our own. And then we split up. So it was only by like, I didn't have a choice. I was on my own.
But it was also quite progressive then.
It was progressive, and you know what? I didn't like. It was really difficult, actually. Like it was way like because when we split up, I was like, oh well, I was just happy that I was allowed to stay on the yard that we were on. So he left that yard, and I stayed on. So I was like, oh, that's great. I get to stay on, and I didn't even really think about how unbelievably difficult it would be, and it really was. It really was, and it's fine now, but I think because I hadn't really prepared for it, and it was even just things like going to shows on your own and things, when you can't afford to bring a groom and you're just like running around like a blue arse fly, and those were the things that I found harder. But then, and just being solely responsible for the income of everything was a bit wild. But then now, I've got it, and it's okay. I'd say it's taken 6 years, but it's okay.
Oh, yeah, good for you.
That-
I mean, because there's
Yeah.
nothing.
Thanks.
I just think it's so hard running a yard.
Well-
Every element of it is tough, and then you've got to try and be a sports person as well.
Yes. Now I have really landed on my feet in the end, but because I'm basically based at my best friend's yard. She's a show jumper and it's absolutely gorgeous. We have like a lovely dynamic. It's a really nice yard. My now fiance is my full-time groom and he literally I don't have to worry about anything about the horses. Like he's everything taken care of.
And
Through all of this, am I right? Is his stable name Artie?
Yes.
Yeah. So was he the consistency through all of this time, through these highs and lows and divorce and resetting up? And has he been your like one constant?
Yeah, but Farrell's been there too. Farrell, my other Grand Prix horse, he's been there too. And they're both amazing guys. But yeah, I mean, Artie's like my wee heart horse. So I love Farrell too.
Okay, so Olympic selection. Not only that, you're the representative for Ireland.
Yes.
Do you remember the moment you got the phone call?
Yes. Very clearly.
What was that like?
It was really stressful. The whole thing was so stressful. Honestly, I don't want to put because there was only one slot. It was an absolute washing machine. Like your mind's in a washing machine for like 9 months leading up to it. And then I got the call and I was like, cool, amazing. And then I was like, oh shit, I've got to do the fucking Olympics.
Things people never think anyone says.
Yeah, you're like, oh, all right, brilliant. Then you're like, fuck. And then you're like, and not only that, you've got to keep yourself well. You've got to keep your horse well. Yeah. So you're like, okay, you've got these few minutes. I'd say I was probably more elated when I found out I got on the team for WEG because it's that kind of like innocence of like, oh, this is the first time this has happened. Isn't this wonderful? And then you're like, for something like that, you're like, oh my God, this is a big thing. This is a big deal. And I better get my shit together.
Oh,
and you
my
did.
God. You did get your shit together.
I did. It took a gargantuan effort, but I did.
What's the main worry? Is it that Artie's going to get lame? Is it you're going to get sick? Is it the pressure of the competition? What is it that keeps you up at night before
everything, all of it? Because and my horses have quite like a free life. You know, they go out every day and they go out in pairs. And actually, to be fair, we did have to separate Artie and Farrell pre-selection because one day out of the blue, Farrell beat Artie up.
What?
Yeah.
Well, Ben will be getting involved in this. Ben will be, because you love it when you make sure your horses all turn out together and everything, don't you? So
it's a bit different.
Was he jealous that he'd been selected for the Olympics? Like, what was going on?
And then, so then we just had to put them so that they were just in the field beside each other rather than in together. But, then you're like, well, we don't want to turn him out any less. We can't change the routine. So we were like walking around the fields every day, making sure there wasn't anything like, flipping, I don't know. And then I used to run a lot and never in my life had I thought, what if I fall off this treadmill? But I started thinking, what if I fall off this treadmill? What if I get sick? What if and then you're like, oh, by the way, I've got to do this test, this Grand Bloody Prix in front of the Palace of Versailles with the world watching.
And was there a lot of media attention? Because obviously here, when you're riding for Team GB, we kind of know who's going to be on the team these days. Obviously, then it all went a little bit to shit. But the Irish are such passionate horse people. They are behind their riders. And I know that from a show jumping standpoint, but are they the same when it comes to dressage?
Yeah. Like, it's definitely not as, like, people aren't as interested in it, like the show jumpers are the rock stars, the eventers are the heroes, and we're just like,
the salad on the side.
Yes, that is exactly what we are. So, but I definitely had like amazing support and like like the media coverage was really good, and I thought like everything was promoted really well. And I think it's a good opportunity to get people that have never watched it involved, which I definitely think happened.
Yeah.
Even just if you take into consideration my sisters that had never watched a dressage test, I think, in their lives until that day.
Oh, really? They'd never watched a dressage test?
I don't think so.
That is hilarious. Did you?
I do think one of my sisters would get on the odd clip my horse the odd time. Actually, yeah, to be fair, she said she did do research before Paris because she wanted to know what a flying change was.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
How many of them were like, watch the whole test though? Because sometimes dressage can get a bit boring, let's face it, if you don't know what you're looking for.
Even when you do know what you're looking for, it can get...
I think
like
everyone
40
can
in a
manage
class.
one test. One test you can do.
40 is a lot.
Did your family make it over to Paris? Did they?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
Oh my God. What was it like, that moment before you go down that funnel? I just can't imagine it. I cannot imagine it.
Honestly, I'm so lucky because like everything did come. Like, I don't know, I put so much work into like the preparation, and then like I knew exactly what I was going to do the night before. I knew exactly what I was going to do that morning, and like everything went to plan. And but I was also in such good mindset. If it hadn't, I would have been okay. And then I had, in my little like crew around me, they had said like, what do you want us to say to you before you go in? So we had like little discussions. So like my friend Georgie knew what to say, and then Mark knew what to say, and I wanted him to be the last person to talk to me. That's my fiance. I wanted him to be the last person to talk to me before I got to go in. And like, that's the thing too. Like, I'm so lucky that because my fiance is my groom, he got to be there. Most of people's partners are right up, at the top of the stands. So I got to have that moment with him, which was like probably the most special moment of my life. And I'll probably never top that. It was amazing. And yeah. And then I went in and game on.
Unbelievable. And obviously the test went well, but when you're riding through it and stuff, do you take it in? Like what? Like for me, it's just something that's never going to happen. So there's no point trying to visualize it.
Did you enjoy it? As in,
that's what I'm looking for. Because
sometimes, like I've ridden. It's happened very rarely, but when I'm doing a dressage test and I'm like, and I've come out, I was like, oh my God, I actually really enjoyed that because it kind of all flowed really nicely and it all seemed to work out really well. And then I actually started to really enjoy riding it. Like I say, that's happened so few times in my life. But was it like that, or were you feeling like you were having to work really hard to get what you needed?
A bit of both, because I know enough now that there's certain movements that if I was to go, oh gosh, I'm having a lovely time, I'll have a mistake. So I was on guard for that potentially happening, but at the same time, like, and I had like, when I tell you, I had really visualized this, so I knew I was going to give myself one moment round the edge to like take a breath and think, wow, and then I was going to like get stuck in. And like I remember, like, what's quite cool for me is I remember doing the test. Sometimes in those like wild situations you don't really remember it, whereas I do. And like there's specific parts I remember. I didn't halt, I wasn't immobile in my first halt, and I thought, oh, there's worse problems in the world, get on with it. And then I remember getting to the end of the trot work and thinking, this is going really bloody well. But for me, the canter work's actually always both a highlight and the biggest challenge. So it's always like, get into this, get to the canter, get it done. And I remember, I'll never forget riding my ones, because that's where I would probably be the most vulnerable to have a mistake. And I remember like coming on the line, I looked up at the big like Paris sign and I was like, fucking eat these up. And I did. Like, they were so good. Like, he did them amazing. He was such a good boy. And then I always think kind of after the second pirouette, you can start to go, okay. And then by the last center line, I was like, just enjoy this. Like, you've done it. Like, whatever happens now, if he was to, which he never would, but if he was to stop and run backwards, it's still been amazing. So yeah, it was so cool. And yeah, so I did enjoy it, but I was like also very focused.
And then
Amazing.
the interview afterwards, Abi.
Which went viral.
So viral that the BBC had to take it down.
What?
Yeah, it's not like
again.
like within 24 hours they had removed it from because
I think that's so funny. That's brilliant.
I know.
Between
So,
you and Chris Burton, by the way, the eventer, breaking the internet after the Olympics. Fucking brilliant. His interview,
Jenny.
he basically said he needed a beer.
Yes, that's right. Thank goodness nobody got wind of it. But I remember being like quite emotional because I saw it. We were actually at Calais on the way back from Paris, like in the lorry, and I was like, oh, like everyone's making fun of me. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe this.
So Ben,
yeah.
if you didn't see the interview of Abi, because it's been removed, basically Abi just goes on and on and on about how it was the ride of her life, and it's like bawling her eyes out. And it's then just been clipped and turned into this. So now she's, oh my, I have a feeling someone, if they listen to this, is going to find all these bits and clip it into one long montage of you.
And she's called
about...
Jenny Rudolph.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, my setup is failing. Oh no,
That's
my
right.
roller has gone away. My iPad's balanced on a foam roller.
She's literally losing.
There we go. We're back.
Oh
yeah,
God,
and I had also
brilliant.
stated that I had the ride of my life, but that I felt like it went really quickly. So yeah, there's been like so many like memes of it, like, oh, this is what my wife was saying last night.
So you have to laugh. And you posted a thing about it the other day, didn't you? A screenshot of it. Like,
I did.
You do the test at the Olympics and then don't think about what you're going to say or something.
Yes.
I think people love you a little bit for it. I think they do.
I've only gotten love, and I've only gotten a handful of young men in my DMs going, you, or did you have the ride of your life today? Or yeah, or yeah.
None
or
of
would you
which
like
is
to have the
original.
ride of your life?
You are a hottie, so I'm sure they're all like very keen.
Well, I mean, I had a hat on. They don't even know. But thanks. That's nice.
Oh my God, that is absolutely brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. And how has it changed your life, apart from being now a viral social media meme? The Olympic side of it, how has it changed your life? Has it, or are you back to...
Yeah, no, I don't think it really does, other than like I got a cool tattoo, because, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, yeah, and other than that you can say it, not really much is different at all. You literally just go back to normal life. You get cool stuff, you know. I've got a lot more t-shirts than I had before, and you know, like cool tracksuits and stuff, and you know, and I love all the little things, you know. You get a lot of little things.
Yeah.
And like, but yeah, other than that, it is very like, yeah. Doesn't really
Simon
change
and I
anything.
were talking about this. So we asked Michael Duffy, what would you rather win? The Aga Khan, which is the show jumping event at the Royal Dublin Show, for anyone who doesn't know, or the Olympics. And we were talking about how the Olympics gives you context. If you walk into a room full of people and you try and explain how good a dressage rider you are, if they don't know about horses, if you say, I've been to the Olympics, they can immediately go, you're pretty fucking good. If you say, I ride at Grand Prix, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes, that's very true. And it's a good talking point, like, for sure. The only thing is then people automatically ask you if you want a medal, and you're like,
Ugh.
no. I'm like, I was 37th and I was really happy with that. I was like, I exceeded expectations, actually.
This is where you're lucky, Ben, because no one's ever going to ask you that question if you came like first, second, or third.
Yeah, I get away with it pretty much. It's good. No one even knows what I'm meant to be doing. I just go in there and make it up as I go along. That's the best thing. I just have to fill the time. It's fine.
And then what are the reasons? So this is where Ben might have some questions for you. You're very quiet today, Ben. He's obviously very tired. It's not like him. He sits there and ponders and then comes in with these really like good questions.
Cool.
But you have then since then broken the internet on several occasions and made my life very difficult with all the messages I have to answer saying, I'm getting her, don't worry, by removing your tack. Did you ever think by removing your tack and posting videos, you would cause such a reaction? And do you think it's the timing around what's happening within the dressage world? Do you think if you removed the tack 5 years ago, you'd be getting such a reaction as you are now? What has been your experience like? Because why did you do it, first of all? And then secondly, the reaction that you've had.
Well, I think I actually first removed the tack in 2021, maybe 2022. And the first time I did it, I jumped.
Did you? I've not seen that.
Yeah, she's an oldie but a goodie. I did it on Chess. So that's the mare. She's pre-St. George Inter 1, but I'm also currently trying to take her eventing. So I first did it on her. Maybe it was 2021 or 2022, but like, you know, some people, you know, people probably just didn't notice as much. But it was like mostly just because I am obsessed with just trying to be better. Like, and I wanted to see if I could. Sorry that's probably not but I also like, you know, it's a sad time in the sport. It has been for a few years. And I feel like I kind of want, you know, at this point, when I wanted to see if I could, I've always liked doing, like, you know, around that time, I like piaffed in a head collar backwards, like as in I was on backwards. Oh. Like I would doing stuff like that, and like would do like one-time changes into a jump, and I like doing stuff like that because I think it's fun. But then I think now it's important because I do think it is good to try to show that you can be someone that does that kind of stuff and compete.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be like that. I only just compete and I only ride in double bridles, and like, I just like horses and I like riding horses and I like training horses. And I just would love to try to show people that you can kind of be a bit of both, like a bit natural and a bit sporty at the same time. Ben's smiling.
It all links in together. No, because I think it's funny that you say like the first time you tried it, you jumped, because I think it just says a lot about the schooling of the horses. Because I think this is something that people get wrong with the tackless stuff, is they associate it with a lot of the liberty stuff, but it really doesn't live together. Because if the horse is schooled well, it'll probably go tackless really nicely. So like my wife we've lost him now, but when I met my wife, she had a beautiful grey warm blood thing. I don't know what its breeding is, sorry everyone. But the first time she left me on the yard with it on her own, she was like, you ride him. And I was riding him, and I was like, he was really nice. Then I was like, oh, I don't really need the reins. He goes off my seat really nicely. Sod it, let's get rid of the bridle. And he went like beautifully his first time without a bridle, because he knew how to, like you say, you could half halt with your seat, you could ride him, you could turn him. And so like if all of that is in, and do you know what I mean, then, and the horse can maintain gait and direction, then it's not a big leap. And so I think it's where it all, in my brain, it's all just one big circle, really. It doesn't matter where you're on it, whether you're jumping, eventing, dressage, carriage driving, liberty. It's all just training horses to respond to signals, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And like, out of my, you know, so I've kind of got, well, out of my horses, I've got 8 in at the minute, but 7 are kind of my long-term rides. You know, I've done 3 of them without a bridle. And like, but there's, you know, the younger ones, I know I wouldn't dream of it yet. Like, they're not there yet. The decorum isn't there. But like along the line, I hope that it will be. Because exactly like you're saying, I'm very pleased to hear you say that it is to do with just good schooling. And by no means am I saying that I'm doing everything right, but I can tell you I'm bloody well trying.
And I think that's the thing you've said quite a lot, isn't it? Because people come after riders saying, you don't need to ride in a bridle, you can do Grand Prix without a bridle, you can do this. And Ben has said in the past, which really resonated with me, actually. It made me think. It was like, yes, but how do you think they got trained? They were trained up to that.
Yeah, I only know there is one guy called Luke Gingerich in America, and he's trained a little horse to learn all the movements, you know, the pirouettes, the 1s, the 2s, all of that. and that mare has never worn or been ridden in a bridle or like a head collar in its life. It was ridden only in a neck rope from day one. And
that is amazing.
Yeah, he is a wizard. So like teaching all the flexions and stuff by teaching the horse to target train, by touching its nose to a ball on a stick, and then link that in with seat, leg, and verbal cues. So like he's got all his half passes in walk, trot, and canter, all his like stunning. Whereas he's the only person I know of who is actually trained like that. Like
That's
everybody
amazing.
else has had a bridle on it at some point.
I'd love to see him zigzag. Show me the zigzag. I will be looking later. But like, yeah, and I that is amazing. And it does kind of bother me when people say like, well, you should be able to do it without a bridle. And I'm like, please don't take away the fact of how hard all of it is.
Yeah, and you're like, sit down and shut up, Debbie. You can't do it in a fucking bridle. So why don't you back off? You can't get the right trot diagonal, so shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Ben is on one.
No,
today.
I'm just saying it annoys me so much when people are sat there. I can see them with their mates with a bottle of rosé, just like, fuck it, say this. But I completely agree with you. It's so annoying because I don't think people understand it either, because I think it shows a level of education that is lost, because it's like they just see Pelham and think, oh, that's emergency brakes, and you're like, no, it has a different function to the snaffle.
Like no one puts a double bridle on because they want to use more rein. They do it so that they can use less. They do it so they can use less like hand and rein aid, not so they can use more.
Yeah,
it certainly didn't used to be like that with the eventers back in the day. It's definitely changed now, but I do remember it. Like it was like, okay, you can't get your horse on the bit, put a double bridle on, and that has definitely changed now. The standard is so much higher. I'm talking about when I first started,
which
is a long time ago.
He's very old. It's all right. Ben's the young one. I think we're all in our 40s apart from Ben. Haven't you just turned 40?
Me, yeah.
Yes. Oh, thank fuck, because that could have been really.
I was thinking, Jenny, you better have got that right. Otherwise,
you're going to be in trouble.
Abby's never speaking to me ever again.
Yeah.
I'm actually 35.
Yeah.
I'm 32 this year. I get a bus pass, I reckon. I'm old.
Oh, my God.
Covered in cake.
So, since obviously it is called the Charlotte incident, but she doesn't stand alone in incidents and things that have come out. And recently we were on a previous pod talking about Heath Bryan and all these things that have happened. Have you had people coming after you because you have the word dressage in your job title, or have you been okay? Have you avoided the onslaught of abuse from the social media?
I'm so lucky. For one thing, I will tell you is I have not had the Facebook app since about 2016. Mm-hmm. I was done with it.
The fact you're calling it the Facebook as well shows
the
you're like
Facebook
me and
app.
you're in your 40s,
well, apparently, Facebook's only for over 40s, so maybe I need to get it back. But so I do restrict what I would ever take in. So I do. From what I see, I'm very lucky. I have got lovely people. I'd say I've only had a handful of negative comments over the last number of years. Like I say, that's just on my Instagram. I don't really go on Facebook or anything like that. Now, what has, oh gosh, should I share? Yeah, fuck it, why not? My name's caused a problem because I am A. Lyle, and we also have Adrian Lyle. So, do you know who that is?
I don't think the boys do. Ben probably won't. Fill us in, yes.
She's an American dressage rider, and she has been under fire a lot for like her horse's frame and the way of going and things like that. So
I think she's a favourite on Dressage Hub, isn't she?
Yeah. So I even had like someone reach out to me that was like, I'm so sorry about all the hate you've been getting. Like, I'd love to help you and like make you better and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I'm getting hate. And I was so upset. And I was like, where?
Oh, no.
And then she like directed me to Dressage Hub. And I mean, whether I've had hate since then or not, I don't know. I don't go on there. But I went and looked and I couldn't find anything about me. And then I was like, this is just full of Adrian Lyle. That's who she thinks I am. And there was also a couple of times just after Paris, there was like a thread where people were like, who's your favorite rider? And a couple of people tagged me. And then underneath, people were like, no, she's a roll car rider. Like, it was terrible. And then people were like, wrong, Lyle. Wrong,
People defending
Lyle.
you.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
and then
bad,
actually, to
isn't
be
it?
fair, yeah, like the people apologized and were like, oh yeah, sorry, didn't realize. So no, and like I say, I'm lucky, but I do try to keep myself in a wee bubble whereby I don't like try to look at
What is going
don't-
on?
yeah, because honestly, I would really struggle. I did get trolled the other week, so I'd put up a video of I rode with my reins bridged because I was like, this is a good tip for if you're struggling with your contact or you've got like a wayward hand and you're trying to keep your hand still. So I bridged my reins and I just did a little canter around on Farrell and did a couple of tempies. And then someone wrote like, oh honey, like you need lessons. You can't ride. You can't even sit to this horse and you're not even holding the reins right. And they spelt reins RAINS. And I was feeling myself that day. I'd had some really good sessions and I was feeling sassy. And I just wrote back and said, you could try for 100 years and you'd never be able to ride as well as me.
Yes.
But then, of course, then it did inevitably lead to like this big barrage. And like then my followers were involved and were like, don't you know she's an Olympian? And this person whose like profile was like a cartoon was like, I'm actually a really good rider. And like was like telling me I needed to get a new trainer.
Carl Hester's your trainer.
Yeah. And I'm like, sorry, Carl, but this person thinks.
Oh,
yeah.
It's just-
I just love that.
It's the difference, isn't it, between the person that painted the Mona Lisa and those dickheads that went and threw soup at it, isn't it? Like that is the split, isn't it?
Completely.
Oh, my God.
Completely. And like I've had people that will like, they probably see me on, you know, their whatever, they're scrolling. And then they'll write on, you know, I put a really cool video of just Farrell doing a good piaffe in his double. And then people are like, bitless, please. And I'm like, bitch, go and look at my freaking profile. Like I'm without a bridle in a field. What more do you want? Like fuck, clean off.
I got
what
the best
I love is like so if ever there's anything like that on my Instagram, then I like I just don't respond. I don't because I just think it's just, you know, it just makes life easy to just not, because then you don't get it. But Abby is complete opposite. She's straight on in there. Just like, you can back off because I'm brilliant.
You know, I honestly, like, I probably wouldn't have before, but I just feel like at the minute I'm just fed up with it. And I feel like I'm in a good place and you know, like, fuck them, honestly. Get a life. People are just so, you know, they're looking for problems and they're addicted to their own self-righteous indignation and just, yeah, fucking, yeah.
Love it.
Go and close the door from the other side.
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing so hard. I absolutely love you. I think you're genuinely my new favourite human on earth.
Oh, thanks. I just don't want all this like shite anymore. And I just want everyone to try their best and try to be nice to each other. And their horses,
100%.
obviously, like for God's sake, of course. But like, you know,
I
I just want us all to get along.
And reminding why we all do this might be.
We need to get in the circle and we need to hold hands. Like, I love them. They're my babies. Like, I think about them when I'm not with them. Like, I think that's what also people forget. Like, when you're a rider, like, these animals are literally your world. And like, you know, I'm 40. I don't intend on having kids because I have them. I have like 10 of them. And they're the dogs and the horses. And I worship like the little freaks. And, you know, I would do anything for them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think exactly. And I think, do you worry for where dressage is going and how it's going? Is it something that keeps you up at night?
Hugely, yeah, hugely. I ruminate over it so much because, you know, and I actually would get very upset. Like, you know, like I say, I'm very lucky. I haven't gotten a lot that I know of, a lot of hate, but I get so upset when I see people getting it, you know, that I go to shows with and have nice chats with and know that they went home from that show and got a McDonald's on the way home, even though they've won this massive achievement and they're out with the horses until 11 o'clock at night, like making sure they're all tucked in and well and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's really hard. I think it's hard for anybody in it because and as well, like, I just think about the days where you're out. I remember Compiègne a couple of years ago, and it was thunder and lightning and it was pissing down with rain, and like everyone was like just doing their best. And I think when all this negativity surrounds it, and it's like you're not there watching what we all go through just to get somewhere, just to do it, just to perform with our horses. We're literally in the trenches sometimes. And I get really, really upset with how people just have no kindness or respect for the people that do it. And I do think there's a certain degree where people wave a card of saying animal abuse or cruelty, because I do think it satisfies their own self-righteous indignation more than anything. Like, obviously there's a lot of bad things that do go on and that needs to be addressed, but there's, I saw people were coming for Ingrid Klimke. Like, come on, she's perfection. Like, she is, though. You couldn't get a better rider. Yet people are going for her. Like, come on.
But at the same time, something needs to happen because there is stuff going on. So it's how we do this without scapegoating and hanging people up from a noose at the nearest social media platform. But at the same time, I think our problem when the Charlotte incident happened and when the Heath Ryan happened and all these incidents happen is a lot of the top riders' response is, well, I've seen worse. That doesn't make it okay.
That helps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the thing. That's the issue I have. That is what I want to dig out and get rid of. I want it to be, shit, that happened. That's the worst thing I've ever seen. That's never going to happen again.
Yeah.
That's what the response should have been to these incidences, and how we get to that stage where we do change what is going on in some people's yards. That needs to happen as well, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I think, like, they've got that app where the one for the dope testing, where basically you have to like log your location every day for however long, because they will come with an hour's notice. Why don't they do that for like yard spot checks or something, where they can come and check that your horse is not spurred, or like even that, like, obviously that's not okay no matter what, but or come and be like, while you're riding. I know that sounds like a mental idea, but
we said this on another pod. We
did you?
Said this, didn't we? I said to Simon, as a professional rider, would you be open to the idea of just someone turning up on your yard one day without notice, like a Michelin-starred chef review? They don't know when they're coming. Like they come loads of times over a year, and you get awarded stars. But they've come many a time to your restaurant, and you've never known they were there. I know, obviously, you'll know if someone random turns up on your yard. But I think something in that. Yeah,
I actually think that's probably like one of the best things that could be done, because then, everyone, you can't do it then.
Yeah, it's also the other people who are the loudest. Do they want change for horses, or do they want to see successful people fall? Because you see a lot of, here's this really famous person, let's all destroy their life. But you don't see a lot of, guys, let's gather together and do a massive GoFundMe for World Horse Welfare, or the Brook, or like, why can't we, like, and I'm not saying that either, like, all sides of the conversation are important, but like, I did a live event with Becky Moody and for a horse charity, and by the end of the night, like, the big point we made out was like, even if you are the most evil person that, say, like Dressage Hub could come up with in the world, and you train in the most horrific, evil, torturous way in the world with a top Grand Prix horse, the other 23 hours of the day of that horse's life are probably pretty amazing. It's probably well taken care of. The grooms probably take care of it, even if the trainer's an arsehole. Whereas you've got so many horses, donkeys, mules all over the world living in like agony and terror 24 hours a day. And that's what gets to me as well, because they don't care. Or like, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's not the same from the other. Like, I remember being at a show. I was very careful there. I nearly said the name. I'm not going to say the name, but I was at a show, and I saw a kid get like a cricket score going around the show jumping, and they laced that pony coming out the arena. And all the adults around them were just sort of like looking the other way. I was like, if I'd done that as a kid, I'd have got pulled off and beaten.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like,
see how you like it?
Yeah, but you're like, where's that side? Do you know what I mean? Also at it, like, from a point of view, like, to stop getting adults that think it's okay to treat horses like that.
Yeah.
You've got a stamp on it. And this is where I think, what I'm trying to say is, it annoys me because I think it's more that people get gratification from knowing they've hurt others. More than gratification from knowing they've improved horses' lives.
I do think you've hit the nail on the head there, like completely, because there's a lot of riders that have come under fire only when they started winning. The horses went the same, before, and then as soon as they, started winning things, then it was a problem. And that's a welfare problem. But it wasn't a welfare problem when they weren't winning.
Yeah.
So
and
that's
I think
the thing.
it's, I would say as well, it's not a dressage only thing. I think it happens in all industries. Like, there are some cracking lies going around about me in our industry at the moment. And it's because I'm doing well. And people can't stand it. And the moment you do well, people are like, oh, can't have that. And I just think it's,
So every time if you want to report a rider, do it through the best social media. Don't go through social media. Do it through the proper channels.
Social media. What's the best social media?
If you want to post something on social media, post something like you say about horse welfare. Post a social media post about a charity that you can go and help. Do some good. Don't do bad.
Yeah, and like my kind of ethos, because like I say, I've given it a lot of thought, because like there is no excuse for the way we've seen a lot of top riders behave. It's not okay. They shouldn't be beaten. They shouldn't be whipped. It shouldn't be happening. But like,
neither should the horses.
Well, and like, I'm in quite an interesting position, I think, because I teach a lot, and I teach from people that only walk and trot, like literally will not canter, all the way to people who are doing Grand Prix. And I see a lot, and I do see people that when they come in the lesson, they might not ride how I like. I'm not going to yell at them and storm out of the lesson and say, you're an effing bastard. I'm going to try and show them ways that they could handle the situation better. A lot of it as well comes from their own frustration and their own, like, they don't know what to do. So I just think, like, sometimes, so like we kind of need to be like, showing people more ways, that you could train a horse without needing to use, harsh methods, and we need to be, I do think we need to be going down that route instead of just being like, you're all bastards.
We spoke about this with Heath Ryan, because he said in his video, that there was no other way this horse was going to go to the knackers if he didn't do this, and the horse has come out well and everything. And obviously Ben watched this video and Simon watched this video, and they were like, there's a million different ways you could have trained that horse. And it's just being open to it. It is being open to, no matter what age, if you're in 60s and you've been to 20 Olympics, it is being open to learning from an eventer, learning some liberty. Because I guarantee that horse probably would have responded to a different type of training.
The bit that is like, I shouldn't laugh. It's not funny. It's a very serious video. It's not funny. But what is a bit funny is in that video, if you're going to shoot one for what that horse does in that video, you must shoot loads.
Yeah.
Because it is horrific. It's stomach churning to watch.
Yeah.
He's lacing the crap out of it, and it's just fly kicking with one back leg. And you're like, oh, it looks like a real man killer, doesn't it? Looks like a life changer, that one.
Yeah, the horse is just stood there, just like one leg. Yeah, I know.
That's the annoying
part. I mean, his excuses for the whole thing were just embarrassing.
I'm very lucky that I'm going to try and say things in something that makes sense. When I was, a lot of people only know what they're taught to a point, obviously. And so many of us grew up in a riding school. Give it a whack, give it a kick, give it a smack. I remember being told, saw her mouth off, that kind of thing. And then until you start to learn more things, which you've got to be open to, then you're kind of in that box. And like, I'm very lucky whereby I have very good owners, very supportive owners, that I have had horses before where I've been like, I have tried everything apart from beating this horse, and beating this horse is not something I'm willing to do. And that horse has been happily retired, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I'm very lucky that I'm in a position where, to be honest, I kind of created that position for myself, because if somebody was like, no, beat this horse, I'll take it away, I probably wouldn't want that person to be my owner. So we've all grown up however we learned. And I have a core memory when I knew that I would never hit a horse out of discipline ever again. And it was a long time ago, and I haven't, I would, use school and whip, tappa, toot, toot, toot. But it's something I would never do, because I honestly don't think it works. Like, I don't believe that it works. I don't think they can compute that. Like, especially, in dressage, when you're asking them such intricate things, like if you want a better flying change and they do like a crap flying change, if you beat the crap out of them, they've got no idea what they've done wrong. No clue. So, I just
when their first thought is flight, isn't it?
They learn from doing good, and you saying, yeah, you nailed it. I believe, anyway. I don't know.
No, I think you're 100% right. 100% right.
All right, quick pit stop. Let's talk helmets. Charles Owen have just launched the Phoenix, and we want to tell you all about it. It's lightweight, super comfy, and fits like a glove, thanks to a clever little dial system. You've got full ventilation, a quick release harness, and a moisture wicking headband that you can actually just chuck in the wash after a sweaty ride. Certified to 3 international safety standards for that extra peace of mind, this lid is all about safety and style. Best bit starts at just 75 quid, which is a hell of a lot of helmet for the money, in our opinion. Head to the link in our show notes and check out the Phoenix by Charles Owen. Right, let's get back to the pod.
So what people won't know, Abi, is during the Olympics, you also had in the back of your mind that you were having to come back to be part of a documentary. I feel like your life has had many highs, like brilliant, wonderful highs, but you've also dealt with so much shit behind the scenes that people won't know about. And the fact that you can either be on this podcast, be funny, be the human that you are, I think is testament to your character and how strong you are. But a documentary has come out on Sky, very dramatic title, quite rightly, which is A Death of a Show Jumper, to do with Katie Simpson, who died at the hands of Jonathan Crewswell in 2020. But you had to be part of that documentary because you actually dated Jonathan and had what can only be described as a life-altering, horrific experience with him. And you said you were happy to chat about it. So, tell us about your relationship with Jonathan and why that was on your mind during the Olympics.
So, I mean, I was with him in 2009, and then because this has been brought up, I can say he was actually the main reason I moved to England, because I needed to get away. And it was a very, very deeply violent, abusive relationship. It lasted 9 months. The first incident of violence so we got together in October. The first incident of violence happened on Valentine's Day. How nice. And it would have probably happened once a fortnight until August, which was when I left him. During that time, my mum died of cancer. And having lost my brother to a drug overdose only 4 years before that, it was just all an absolute terror. It was a horror story. And then so I did leave him, and I went to the police, made a statement. He was arrested and subsequently convicted and did a custodial sentence for his crime against me. But then in that time, I moved to England, started a new life, kid in a candy store at Talent, all that kind of stuff. And then I get a phone call in and I literally, like, I just put him out of my life. I spoke a bit about it at the time when he first was kind of on trial for my case back in 2009, 2010. And then I remember thinking, okay, he's done his time. Let's move on, close that chapter. I never followed anything that he did, nothing at all. And then in March, I think, of 2021, I got a phone call from the police because they said, we've arrested him for murder. So, and from that point, looking back, I was in such a terrible state because I had to, first of all, go back through a lot of my, like my statements and things from before, because there was a lot of things they wanted more detail on that were obviously relevant to the murder. And then there was going to be a trial and I was going to be a witness. And when I was campaigning for Paris, so like, for example, I was going to Hagen, which was in April, and I had like flights booked. So, and Hagen would have been a 4-star, one of the kind of more important shows in the run up to Paris. So you're talking like 2-3 months before Paris, vying for one slot for your country. And I had flights booked so I could go straight from Hagen back to Belfast to give evidence in his murder trial. And then while I was there, they had the first day of the trial, and for some reason he was on bail, and that night he took his own life. So then I was standing in Hagen with already tacked up, double bridle on, ready to go and have a session with Carl, and the police rang me and told me that he had killed himself. And then a whole flood of, media attention had come out. I'd already done an interview beforehand because the trial was coming up. And yeah, then it just went pretty crazy. So I cannot express how hard it was to try and stay focused. And like, it's so funny. I think back to that day, the day that I got that call that he'd taken his life. The next day I was due to compete, and Artie was obviously like best friend, love of my life. I never tie him up to plait him or anything, and he just stands and enjoys it. He kept like stepping away from me. It was really weird. Like, and I thought like, he knows my energy. Like he knows I'm like really, really upset. And even his breeder had come to visit, and his breeder was like, he's being really weird today. And I was like, I know, it's me. He's like upset by my trauma. And I remember thinking like, okay, you've got to compete. Go and trust your horse, because your horse knows his job. So just go and do your best. And we did a decent test. And then that night, it all came out in the media. And to a really big extent, I felt relief, because I was like, right, it's all out now, because I couldn't say anything about it before that because I was a witness. So I felt so relieved that like, okay, it's all out in the open. I can just like, try to get on with things. And the next day when we went to the stables, Artie was totally back to normal. And he was like all cuddly and like loving again. It's just like, I just kind of wanted to put that bit in because I think it's so interesting how, they're so perceptive with us. And I think that's why it's so important to look after your noggin for your horse's sake. So yeah.
That is a lot to
quite
deal
a story.
With. It is quite unbelievable. You are a very strong. I've met you. You appear to be a very strong. Like you've got your shit together. Do you look back at 2009, Abi, and like when you hear things like this, there's that obvious question: is why didn't you leave him? Why did you stay with him? Like I know there might even be someone listening to this who's in your shoes in that situation right now. Like, trust me, this podcast has reached people and helped people in more ways than I could ever possibly imagine. Oh. Hence why I feel like I can ask you this. But like, you look back now and you seem so strong, but how is it someone who's so strong like you stays with a person like that? Do you mind me asking that? Because
no, not at all. And I'm very happy. And I would prefer people ask, because then it gives more understanding. So there's a few reasons. One is no one like that. You'd never meet them and they're horrible. They're usually very charming. They're usually very alluring characters, and he certainly was. He was charming, he was funny, he was thoughtful, and likewise, it very rarely just starts straight away. There's a build up to it that I think is almost like a level of genius manipulation. So there was a lot of groundwork that was laid, and the thing is in 2009 we weren't really thinking about red flags and all this kind of stuff. Whereas I remember when I was with him, I was like trying to get the confidence to leave, and I was having sessions with a counselor from Women's Aid, and she gave me a checklist of emotional abuse, and I could check every one of them, but as early as the first date. But it was so small things that I just didn't clock. And then once you're in it, then you're in it. But my barrister, so when we were going to trial, did say to me, he said, for the level of abuse that I suffered, he thought, you've left much quicker than many, many women do, because it was so bad. Usually by that stage, they're really in it. But I attribute the fact, and the thing is, when you're in it, it's so traumatic. And this person is literally causing you all this pain, but then it's very quick fix. They take the pain away when you get the sorries and that I didn't mean it and that I love you. And then you feel this unbelievable relief, and it's very addictive. It's very it's like oxygen. I've said this like a few times. You go through these, I remember, some of them I felt like I was in a horror movie. And then as soon as it stopped, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. You're like, oh, okay. And it's such a relief. But then there's so much to it, because already this person has started to slowly pick away at your own self-confidence. So you kind of think, oh, he's right. I remember him telling me that I would never make anything of myself in the horse world.
Fuck you.
So, hey, I'm only sad that he had taken his own life before I did the Olympics. But anyway, whatever. He knows I was going there. Yeah. So there's just so much to it. You're kind of you're ripped away, and then they threaten you. Like he would threaten my family. You tell anybody, you leave me, I'm gonna attack your family. I'm gonna do all these things. There's so much to it. But then in the end, I just had a very adamantine. I was very lucky to know that it was ultimately wrong, and I did have my own motivations to leave. One of them was, I thought he'll paralyze me one day and I'll never be able to ride again. Mm-hmm. And that was something I would not have, I would give up anyone for horses. And the other thing, and I'll say very honestly, is I thought, one day I'll kill him. You hear this about the women who suffer for years, and then their husband comes home one day and they just stab them to death. And I thought, I don't want to end up going to jail because one day I finally snapped and killed this guy. So, but also I had good, strong, feminine characters around me that helped me get away.
I was going to say, did a lot of your friends and family, were they very concerned about you, or did you hide it very well?
Oh, yeah, well, it got to a point where I couldn't hide it. It was, anything but the face. But unless I was going to wear turtlenecks all the time, you could see and he was. Honestly, he was a strangler. So there were so many times where people would be like, oh my, you could see my neck, and it actually would always look like I'd try to hang myself or something. Sorry if that's trigger, but it was always like that. Everyone in my life knew, because it was impossible to hide. So yeah, oh my gosh, it was mad. And some of my friendships broke down at the time. Thankfully, now I was able to reclaim them. And my dad was, beside himself. My sisters were beside themselves. Yeah, it was very bad.
Do you think the strength you show now as well, do you think horses have helped you get through? I feel quite emotional because I love you to bits, Abby. I think you're a great person.
I love you too. Thanks.
And I just hate the thought of anything I've got happening to you. Oh, makes me sorry. They know what I'm like. But do you think horses have helped you heal and get through
my
stuff?
lordy, yes. I couldn't, because my healing process was probably a lot longer than it should have been, because I did just, I remember when I left him, it was probably about a month, maybe 6 weeks before I went to Thailand. And that was like, honestly, one of the worst times of my life, because it was so, I can't even describe the mental torture that was. And then I literally moved to Thailand and threw my whole heart into it. And I also I went to Thailand, and I remember going, and before I was going, buying trainers, and I still have these trainers and I'll always have them, because I was like, I just went and bought these trainers, and I don't have to answer to anybody, and I didn't have to, explain to him why I bought trainers or stuff like that. So I'd literally gone over and was in this horse heaven, doing all these amazing things. So I just threw myself into it. Didn't really deal with a lot of it until recently, I have to say. But they've always been, and even other things in my life, when my marriage ended, the best advice I ever got in my life was from, no surprises, from Carl. And I remember him saying, just ride every day and do not miss a day. Get up every day and ride and don't miss a day. And it was the best advice I ever got. And I remember having rides where I was just so heartbroken, whatever, and trying things on the horses, just thinking what if, and being able to do them, and they were just amazing. And yeah, they've always been I probably wouldn't be here without my little cherubinis.
Just
what I've really liked about talking to you, Abi, is there's so many different layers to your life and what you've done. Because when we first started, you were talking about, I came to Thailand, and it was like we were in a candy store, and it was amazing with the horses, and all sounds very sweet and lovely, but actually deep down there was so much other stuff going on, and it was just it's an amazing story, and good on you
so
for
much.
working on through it.
My therapist wrote me a list the other week. I came in and she was like, I've actually taken the liberty of writing a list of all the things. Well, she worded it specifically as all the losses I've suffered, and it was quite beefy. But I said to her, I was like, I literally live every day. I feel like the luckiest girl in the world.
And I saw you posted on, I hope you don't mind me bringing up as well, you posted on social media that you've recently got a tattoo in the memory of your brother, because it's been 20 years.
It's Rob Schneider as a stapler.
I did see I didn't read the comment before I looked at the photo. So I was like, what has she got tattooed on her arm? And I'm sure lots of people on social media will have seen and not read the post and gone, she's lost her mind.
Yeah.
But the tribute is to your brother. Can you just share why you have Rob in a stapler on your arm, which just seems extraordinary?
Oh, this is where I probably will get emotional. Oh gosh, because I say, I lost my mum and my brother, but my brother and I were so thick as thieves, and he died. It's actually 20 years next week, and the weird thing about grief is it comes in different ways as time passes. You're never a while ago, I'm fine. And anyway, my brother was such a character. He was such an influence on my life. He was just this really cool guy. I mean, I don't know how well he'd go down in today's society, because he had a completely shaved head with 4 dreadlocks down the back, here. Yeah. And he was just and he was a drummer, and he was so cool. And anyway, and him and I had loads of things in common, really shared interests. And he was my big brother. And anyway, we watched the episode of South Park where it's and tonight, Rob Schneider is a stapler. He doesn't know how hard being a stapler is going to be. And we watched that together, and we laughed so much because we would enjoy watching South Park together. And then the last thing I ever said to him before he died was I sent him a text saying, and tonight, Rob Schneider is a stapler. And he replied laughing, and he died very suddenly. It was obvious, completely not in any way expected. And he had struggled with addiction. And, I just love that that's the last thing I said to him. I love that that's the last thing I said to him. So Rob is here in memory. Yeah.
as a stapler on your arm. That's
as
brilliant.
a stapler. Yeah, he looks great. He's got a wee smile. Like, and I look at him and I'm laughing. And my tattoo girl, who's done quite a few, she's done a couple of my tattoos. She was laughing so much when we were doing it. She was like, "This is amazing," and I was like, "Look at him. He looks so happy there."
That is really cool. That's really cool.
That is amazing. How do you stay so strong? What's your secret?
I honestly, I haven't been, like, I really fell apart at the end of last year. Like, I completely fell apart. But then it's the thing, you wouldn't have known, like, probably if you saw me in the street, you wouldn't have known. But I felt like I got quite bad in my mental health, probably from about 2018, and it consistently got worse. And then at the end of last year, it was probably, 2021 was pretty bad. 2022 was okay. It's still bad. And then, yeah, you get the whole post-Olympics thing. And yeah, I really, really fell apart. And I basically, like, I do anything. If you were to look up, like, what's good for your mental health and Google it, like, I do it. I quit drinking. I'm now caffeine free. I journal, like, I talk, like, I have a therapist. I've had, like, help with it for a long, long time. So I do, like, anything I can, because I did feel like there for a while, like, a part of me had died, like, I felt like I was always a very bubbly, happy person, and I felt like I'd become something different, and I didn't like that. So then I took action.
I was going to ask you about your sobriety journey, because I'm one of these people, I won't drink in the week, and then I'll drink at the weekend. I have a couple. And then every so often I take it too far. Might be because I'm having a shit week, or hormonal, or, again, bubbly on the outside, a bit sad on the inside. And then I wake up feeling utterly disappointed in myself, miserable. So I've tried many a time to go on a sobriety journey, and it hasn't bloody worked, because I do have small people as well. And honestly, on a Friday, sometimes you just need a beer, especially in the summer. Like, do you mind if I ask you how that's been? Like, would you recommend it? I know Ben's not there yet. He's probably on a beer right now. Are you, Benji?
I've only had 2.
But yeah, what has that been like? Obviously, it's very personal for everyone, but
it's probably one of the best things I've ever done. Like, really? So I was 2 years in April. So what am I now? 2 and a bit years. And I had struggled with moderation for years, and now I wouldn't have been, for an Irish person especially, when I was younger, I wouldn't have been like a crazy, like in my clubbing days. I wouldn't have said I would have been like, I would get pissed, but I wasn't, like, really. I was always kind of aware. And then just as the life creeps on, I then got into a habit of having a glass of wine with dinner, and then it just literally, I remember at one point thinking I hadn't gone a single day without a glass of wine in over a year.
Really?
And that was still, and I still didn't stop for like 2 years after that. So I tried to moderate it for ages, and it just wouldn't work. When I got the Drink Aware app, and it just wouldn't work. And there's, like, science as to why you can't moderate an addictive drug, like, some people, it's not easy to moderate. And then I just remember, like, Mark and I actually were living at Carl's at the time, and we lived above the indoor, and
in Alan's old flat.
Yeah, in Alan's old flat. Yeah, it was great times in there. And then, so we had to take the bottles to the recycling, and I just remember going with, like, all these bottles and just being like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I thought, right, I went to a show, and I thought, right, let's see if I can do a few days or a week or something. And then I read this book called Sober Girl Society, and it was the first time it had ever been framed to me as, like, this could be a lifestyle. And I was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to fucking do this. And yeah, that was it. And it's wild because you go through, like, you have nightmares. I've had nightmares for years that, like, someone gives me a drink and doesn't tell me it's alcoholic. And then they're like, ha, you've drunk. And I'm like, no. Yeah, and it's quite cool too because you go through like you go through phases where socializing is. I'm not going to put a bow on it. Like it's difficult without it. But then you get to a point where you don't give a fuck, and you're like, well, I'm not going to go because if I don't want to talk to you sober, why would I talk to you drunk? So, or do you know what I mean? Like, either way,
I won't leave the house.
I don't leave the house very much, to be fair. I don't really socialise very much.
Night rooms of lots of people. If I can't hide behind my Jenny Rudel microphone and I have to be Jenny, who's just mum of 2 kids, not that interesting. I find if I don't have a few drinks, I can't be Jenny. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I probably just,
But you kind of get like, I've made peace with a lot of it because I go places and I would rather just sit quietly and have everyone ignore me because I'm like, you and I are going to have a bullshit conversation about nothing and then we'll never see each other again. What's the point?
Yeah.
Abby is my spirit animal. Like, this is, that's the vibe.
And then you kind of get to a point where you don't really care. And I just kind of like, but then oftentimes you'll meet someone and you start talking and you're like, oh, you're interested and this is cool. And then you're like, oh, I actually got to hear what you were saying because I was present and with it. So, yeah, I do recommend it very highly. Very highly.
I'm very impressed. I do that thing, when you've had a few and then you get overexcited and you don't hear what people are saying because you talk over them the whole time. Like, yeah. And then you walk away with anxiety thinking that people think that you're like, oh God, what did I say to that person? Maybe I need to try this. Right.
Yeah. I used to be quite a lot of my friends would say like, we miss drunk Abby, but there was
They're not your
definite.
friends.
Well, yeah. But there's definitely an element of drunk Abby that was quite a Larry, angry woman. And I feel like she doesn't need to be around. I'd be like, well, let me tell you this. Did you not know?
She doesn't need a platform.
This? Yeah, no, she stays. She's better just never coming to life.
Was the sobriety from like, that was just something you wanted to do for your life? Or like you say, do you think if you hadn't had such an eventful life, not with the good events, but with the more, challenging events, that you think you'd have come to that same thing with the sobriety? Or do you think it was you find yourself using the alcohol and such as a crutch?
I definitely used it as a crutch.
The force of trauma.
Like, weirdly, when like really bad things happened, I never turned to it. Like, if anything, I would have drunk less when I was really like, when I look back to the things that were like really like when with Johnny and like when my marriage ended and stuff like that, I actually would have drunk less, which is weird. But then that's the thing. Sometimes the aftermath of something awful happening isn't the hardest part. It's then going back to day-to-day life and then kind of like, you just want that like ease of everything at the end of the day. Yeah. I don't know if I probably wouldn't have. No, I probably wouldn't have. Like, I felt like I needed to do something because as well, like my mental health wasn't good. And I was just at this point, like I would have done anything to, get to a better place in my mind. And I just kind of knew that was going to be something that really helped. So probably I wouldn't have felt I needed to had I not had quite the life. And then my dad would be terrible with the drink too. And my sisters both followed me after. So like I got 2 elder sisters and they went, like one of them stopped like about a month or 2 after me. And then the other one stopped a month or 2 after that. And now we're sober sisters.
Sober
I
sisters.
think seeing
like a book.
Yeah, I know. I think when you see people as well, like obviously my brother battled with addiction and then like my dad's been very much taken by the alcohol. So when you see that firsthand in your family, you're like, ugh.
Yeah. But to have the strength to not go down that route yourself, I think is a testament to who you are as a person, to be able to step outside yourself in all of these things you've done. It feels like you've been able to step outside yourself, and obviously you've had help from people as well, but you've been able to help yourself. And I think that is a testament to the kind of person that you are, and to be able to do it and step outside yourself and go, I can go to the Olympics. I'm terrified, but I can ride a horse at the Olympics. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You obviously have a very big inner strength, and I think it's amazing. I think you are
Thank
amazing.
you. Oh.
Well,
Don't
I
forget,
feel like-
Jenny, though, that inner strength in the dressage comes after that second pirouette. That's what we got told. Got to make it to the second pirouette, and then you can breathe.
And then you're good.
Yeah.
Well, we have been talking for nearly 2 hours, and I feel like I've massively hogged the limelight here with the questions. But do you boys, before we go to our finish of what's annoyed you this week, boys, have you got any questions for Abi while I just keep wiping away the tears of emotion with this interview?
I think we've covered quite a lot.
I know.
So, but I think we could cover even more. So I think Abi probably needs to come back for more questions on another one.
Yeah.
I would come back. Yeah.
I think we definitely should. I feel like there's definitely more. So, Abi Lyle.
I could talk forever, so it's not a problem for me.
I love it. But I feel like this is the start of a journey as well. I feel like there's so much more to come from you and in everything you're going to do in life.
Oh my God. Oh, thanks. I don't know. I just, want to pet dogs and ride horses. I just want to be a cowgirl.
I feel like this is an adventure we need to make happen. This is like, take the podcast on tour and get Abi to be a cowgirl. I feel like this needs to happen. Any travel companies listening, we want to get Abi on a rodeo.
Yes,
travel companies. I know cowboys. Let's go.
I've ridden a barrel racer. It was wild, so I'm there for anything.
Oh, you need to ride a reiner.
I would love to ride a reiner. I think I'm going to in October because I go to Louisiana. So that's where I rode the barrel racer. So this is the next thing on the list.
Well, maybe we need to record a podcast with you from Louisiana after you've had that experience. I feel like this could be very funny.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Right. Can you do an American accent, actually, Simon? I don't think we've ever heard that.
I don't know. My American accent's not that great.
No, Simon can't do an American accent.
It's really not great. But I try my best, but it's sometimes doesn't really work out for me.
You sound like English American.
It went from like country to then California.
Exactly. I can't get the right region.
We started in Texas, and each word
exactly.
got further north.
Working his way up to Canada, where you have to say the word a
I'll work on it. I'll get it better.
About the hoose.
Right. Would you like to go first or last with what's annoyed you this week, Abi Lyle?
I'll go first because I don't want anyone to take mine. I don't want to steal.
I like it.
But it's not only this week, but many weeks preceding this is this freaking heat.
Oh, is it really hot there?
Yes.
It's pretty warm. It's been really hot today.
Yeah, and it's going to be like 32 tomorrow, 31, 32. And no, I'm just, no. I don't like it. I used to like it when I was a young buck, and I'm not a young buck anymore, and I can't cope with it. So my boots are getting moldy every day. Sorry, overshare, because they get so wet inside from the sweat.
Wow, that is.
I feel your pain on that one.
It's gross, and so I'm over the heat. We hate it. The horses hate it. The dogs hate it. Autumn, bring on autumn. Pumpkin spice autumn.
Are you a pumpkin spice latte?
No, actually, I'm not. I'm just a decaf cappuccino with no chocolate on top.
Wow. That's the title of your book, a decaf cappuccino with no chocolate on top.
Oh my God. Such a good idea.
The memoir.
What would you have?
Me, I'm full on cappuccino. I need caffeine, but I feel like you're inspiring me. Yeah.
I'm 2 weeks and 2 days off caffeine. Highly recommend that as well. But you've got to wean that gradually. You can't just stop it.
Oh, okay.
You've got to wean. Yeah. Like even moving yourself down to like one caffeinated a day, and then even just a wee cup of tea. And then, because otherwise you'll be very unwell.
But for me at the moment, my kids get up, and unless I've had a coffee, I'm like looking at boarding schools. I'm like, I just need that coffee to get through the day.
Yeah, and like the thing is, if I am riding, it's not so bad. But if I have a coffee and then I sit and teach, I'm all like, ugh.
Yeah, I know. I only have 2 a day, but I think I do need to cut down. Yeah. I'm just getting all the life advice from you today, Abby. I'm loving it. Yeah. I feel like this is
If you need to cut
me.
down, Jenny, I definitely need to cut down.
Yeah.
Because if your coffee order's a cappuccino and you need to cut down, I'm a flat white with a double espresso on the side.
Oh.
Like, on a morning, I get up and I sit at my espresso machine and I drink coffee until lightning comes out my eyeballs, and then I start the day. Like, when I feel like I've got like the resting heart rate of like a hummingbird.
Yeah.
Then
really? Then you're ready to go. Oh my lordy. Yeah. Gosh, yeah.
Wow.
Good for
you.
you.
I can't ride when I'm like that. That's for like...
No.
Go running, come back, do yard jobs. Right. Take the edge off the caffeine. No caffeine after lunchtime.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I don't do that. I don't do that. Yeah. Right, well, while you're chatting, Ben, what's annoyed you this week? You normally have a good one for us.
Annoyed me this week? I've got a horse with a mystery fat leg. Again, it's not brilliant. What's annoyed me?
Annoying.
But I went to pull it out to ride it today, and then was like, why is your near side fall the size of a balloon? And then obviously, so then you panic, and then you're like, I'll trot you up. And I was like, okay, you're sound on a straight line. Okay, you're sound on a straight line on hard ground. Are you sound on a circle? Are you sound on a teeny tiny circle? And so he's completely sound, but he's just got a fat leg. So yeah. That's
annoying.
An
extreme band on it.
Well, it annoys me as well because I'm like, if you were lame, I would have got my wife to dig your foot out and find an abscess, but you're not. So we'll see. But sound as a pound. So, and he seems very happy. He doesn't mind when I poke it. So we'll see.
That's good.
We'll get Eva out. I treated him today, and then we'll get Eva out tomorrow if it's still the same.
That is annoying, though. That's
Fingers
one of the
crossed.
things with horses that is the most annoying. It's like, why can't you talk and tell me what is wrong with you?
I hate playing lameness Cluedo. It's shit.
Yeah.
It's not a good game.
Simon. Oh, he's leaning into this one. What's annoyed you this week?
Ready?
So I went to Dublin Horse Show to go and judge, and I had to go on a plane to do that. And I think that kind of annoys me was we were queuing to go. It was one of those planes with the propellers. And it only had an access door, was at the back, so there was only one door. And it took us forever to get on there because people are so slow. Like, how hard is it to put your bag into the overhead locker and then sit at your seat, or put it under the seat in front of you and then sit in your seat? I don't get it. And then when the flight happened or whatever, it was quite funny because like we taxied out, we reversed out, and then the pilot went, actually, we're going to have to go back in again because we need to fix one of the overhead lockers.
Oh.
So we came back in. They had to get like a maintenance load of people to then come in and then fix that one of the overhead lockers. It was really, I've never known that we can't fly with overhead lockers not fixed. Anyway, sorry, I'm going on. So then when you land and they go, please everyone remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the fasten seatbelt sign comes off. And then as soon as that goes off, it's like. And everyone's like jumping up and getting their bags. It's like, guys, what are you doing? Like, we're going to be here for ages. Why are you getting so excited about getting up?
I get that.
I am one of those people that gets up really quickly, but it's only because my knees cannot cope. So after an hour sat in a plane seat, I have to sit, like stand up as soon as I can. And I'm like up there and I'm like just the relief of standing.
What annoys me when you're getting on a plane is when you're waiting, you've got to show your passport and your boarding pass, and there's a massive queue, and the person in front of you has, so you know your passport needs to be out, and then they start digging through their bag to find it, just as you like, and you're like, what are you doing? You know you need this. You've been waiting for 20 minutes for this moment of glory.
Yeah, I find that with going through security as well. You're queued for, I don't know, 20 minutes, aren't you? And then you get there, and then they're like, oh, do I need to take my belt off? And, oh, do I need to take my watch off? And it's like, guys, we've been stood here for ages. Like, could you not maybe have thought maybe we'd take your belt off so we can just get straight on in there?
There's always people that act like they've never flown before, or especially before 2001, that they don't know that they have to do all that. And it does my head in. I take it as like a personal failure as well. If my bag gets, doesn't get right through, I'm like, no, like
I'm such a disappointment to myself.
Yeah, how can I let this happen?
Or what happens now when I fly to the US, they've got the fancy machines. So, and I seem to forget every time. So I've got my laptop's out ready, my liquids are ready, and they go, no, it's all got to go back in the bag. It doesn't need to happen.
Everything
now.
in the bag now.
Yeah. What? I was so
Apart from
organised.
Heathrow are still doing liquids in a bag.
Dublin did that. Dublin did that on the way back. On the way out from Birmingham, they were like, "Just leave your liquids in your bag." And then on the way back Dublin, they were like, "You need all the liquids in a see-through bag, outside bag."
Yeah, I feel this is probably very interesting for us though. But I feel like this might have taken a turn to the listeners.
Sorry,
it's taken
guys.
a turn.
I've got a very quick what's annoyed you, which might resonate. Really got on my goat. So I was going to work at Thunderbird commentating. And I get to, in Canada, when you reach a crossroads, it's not give way to the left, like give way to the right in England. It's first come, first serve. So it gets quite confusing. So you get there, if someone's there before you, they get to go and then it's your turn or whatever. And then across from Thunderbird, there's obviously a hacking route that takes you right across the diagonal to the woods. And there's this kid waiting there. And I don't have to give way to a horse, but I'm like, oh, okay, I'll wait and let you cross. And obviously kind of it looked obvious to the other cars to wait. And she sauntered across, didn't even look up, on her phone.
On the phone!
And didn't thank any of the 4 drivers waiting. Didn't even look up. She must have been a teenager. I nearly wound down the window and shouted. But I was like, Canadians don't really thank you when you let them to cross the road or anything anyway. But I was a bit like, I really want it. I was like,
have you ever done that, Jenny?
Phone on a road.
Have you ever done that when you've driven past somebody and they haven't thanked you, and then they're riding and you've driven past them and they haven't thanked you, and you've stopped and said, "Excuse me, do you?" It's really important that you thank people. Have you ever done that?
I have actually.
Yeah,
yes.
I knew you would have done.
I've
told people off for not trotting to gateways when they've made me walk behind them for like a group of 5 for like ages, and they've gone past other gateways, and then I'm like, people like you are why horses get hit by cars.
I know, exactly. It winds drivers up and then they won't stop for you next time. So it's like, if you want drivers to treat you with respect and not hit you or drive fast past you, fucking thank them. I'm sorry. It doesn't
You
take
should have
very
beeped
much.
your horn. That would have made her pick her reins up. Fucking hell.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? Anyway, that's what's annoyed me. So if anyone's listening to this, if you're that young listening to this, oops, this has explicit on it, these podcasts, so maybe not. But yeah, thank people when you're doing it. Right.
I hope she's listening herself.
Well, I'll share it with her round Thunderbird. I'll play it on loudspeakers around the arena. Right, Abi Lyle, thank you so much for coming on. I feel like this has been a roller coaster of a podcast, but I hugely appreciate your honesty and it's been amazing.
Yeah, it has. Anytime. I've really enjoyed it. I was super excited for this and it did not disappoint. It's been lovely talking to the 3 of you. Lovely, lovely people.
Oh, it's been really good talking to you. Thank you
very much.
I'd talk to any of you sober.
That is the biggest compliment I feel like we could get.
Yeah.
So my final question to you is, Abi Lyle, as we are at the moment, where are you happy? Are you in a good place? And are you leaving this? Obviously you're happy because you've had us to chat to, but I feel like, are you in a good place right now? Are you a happy bunny?
I think I'm actually in the best place I've been ever.
That makes me happy.
Oh, love that.
I really am. Yeah, like ever. I've got a roof over my head, a big man who's going to cook me dinner in a minute, and beautiful horses, good friends. It's all good. The brain's in a good place, and I feel very grateful. And yeah, probably better than I've ever been. Thanks for asking.
Oh, that makes me happy that you're happy. Thank you for coming on. And I definitely feel like you need to come back on. I feel like the life is, there's lots of many brilliant things in your future. But I love your honesty because you really didn't have to be that honest, and it's absolutely brilliant. But all that is left to say is not only thank you very much, but Abi Lyle, shut up and ride.
Yay! Thank you.